Hi everyone, I'm Miriam. I'm Med Assistant Professor of Graphic Design in the Art and Design program at NSU, and it looks like we are doing some last minute setup things with technical components of the exhibition. So thank you for joining us, and we will be with you shortly.
My name is Lopez Moreno. I'm the associate professor here for the art and design program. I'm assuming most of you guys know me by now. We are in the space in the performance lobby. So if you guys ever end up coming to campus, the artwork will be up through April 17th. So it'll be right here, beautifully laid out. This show is called Emanon, and it encapsulates 5 work from women artists here that have majors either in graphic design or studio art. I'm very happy that you guys can participate and can come in and look at the space. I am going to show you guys a little video. So each one of them talks about their artwork throughout this film and what it is that inspires them and how Nova has curated that growth in them throughout their 4 years here.
Hi everyone, my name is AJ. I'm a senior here at Nova Southeastern. I am majoring in art and design with a concentration in studio art, and I have a minor in marketing. I'm super excited to be a part of the senior exhibit this year. We have a lot of great pieces to show everyone, so I hope everybody enjoys the show. My work aims to say a lot of different things about mental disorders, things about society, sometimes political issues, but mainly the big picture that I just want to put out to whoever is looking at my pieces is that I want people to gain a deeper understanding of life around them, and that everybody should just be a little bit kinder to one another. There are so many things that go wrong on a daily basis, and regardless of who you are, your social status, no matter what the situation is, I know that we can all connect on a deeper level, and I just want to be able to express that through my artwork. I have many influences in who I look up to for creating my own artwork. 2 that come to mind right away would have to be Salvador Dali and Banksy. The political pieces that Banksy creates, I think, are out of this world, creative and amazing, and he's done so much to draw attention to little things that people usually don't pay attention to. And with Dali, I think it's great that he used surrealism to his own personal advantage, and his pieces are so abstract and different that it makes you stop and look at them a little bit longer and really question, like, why would he make something like this? And I really think that those 2 artists have made me look at art in a completely different way than I would have had I not looked into their life or their different art pieces that they have created. So I love learning more about new and other artists outside of those 2, obviously, because you can never learn too much about art, but I would have to say that those 2 specifically have changed how I view artwork, how I create my own artwork, and they have personally made me a better version of myself as an artist today. So I love them. My inspiration for my art stems from my personal mental disorders that I do struggle from. I usually use that as an advantage rather than disadvantage in my daily life, because I want to find a way to cope with what I have going on personally, and I want to use it, like I said, in my advantage so that I can create something positive out of my everyday situations that I either struggle with or go through. And then that way I'm aiming to connect with a larger audience of people who either struggle the same way that I do, or just want to be able to learn more and understand more about people who do struggle with mental disorders. So that mainly is what inspires me to create my artwork. I don't have a specific title career goal that I want to get to in the future, but I do have a goal in terms of what I hope to do. I want to be able to own my own studio and gallery kind of like a 2-in-1, so that way I can help other artists down the road, because in my time of being an artist here at school or outside of school, I've been given so many amazing opportunities to show my work and get my name out there. So I just want to be able to pay it back to future like up and coming artists. In that way, it would make me feel good, and I feel like it would be great exposure to newer artists that are going through the exact same baby steps that I went through here and now. So that is something that I aspire to gain in the future for my career goal. The best piece of advice that I've been given in my career as an artist would definitely have to be to think outside the box. I know it sounds pretty cliche, but when you think of it, in terms of being an artist, there are so many ways that you can create stereotypical designs and things that people have already created before. So in hearing someone say try to think outside the box, even as an artist, we already try to do that on a daily basis, but even being told it again and again to think outside the box, you're forced to be in a mindset where you have to think even harder and longer on these designs that you've created, and if it's been done before, or how could you change it to make it more personal to yourself. So I think that is the best piece of advice that I have been given personally in terms of being an artist. The NSU Art and Design program has helped me grow as an artist in ways that I never thought would be possible. My first year here at Nova, I was told to submit one of my pieces to the student juried exhibition, and to my surprise, I actually won the purchase award, and it was my first year here at Nova, so I went in thinking nothing was going to happen, and when my name was called, it was an absolute shock to me. So from then on, I knew that I had pretty much what it took to be an artist, and after taking many courses after that exhibition, I've learned how I can grow in terms of my skill set, in terms of how I view the work that I create, how I put my name out there as an artist professionally, how I can network as an artist. I've learned so many great things that I know will help benefit me in the future in a professional field. And I am incredibly grateful for this opportunity that Nova has given me as an art major. So thank you so much to the NSU Art and Design.
Hi, my name is Gianna Allison. I am a senior art and design major at Nova Southeastern University, and welcome to the exhibit. So just to answer a few questions here, what does your work aim to say? My work does not have any particular message. It is more so that I try to convey a feeling through my work. Usually whatever I am feeling at the time is what I convey through what I'm creating in that moment. So something that is like still and calm and kind of something that gives off like a peaceful vibe, I would say that is probably what I'm feeling at the time. So I suppose in that respect, my work says, here I am, this is me, and this is how I feel. My biggest influence, I do not have any particular role model, but I would say my biggest influences would definitely be my family first. Some of my work is inspired by my family, like my pets, my friends. They definitely influence me. They encourage me to keep creating. They love whatever I make, and that is definitely motivation for me. Then I would say another influence would probably be my professor, Lopez. I've had her for many classes, so she definitely influences me to like, or rather she encourages me to put my best foot forward in my work, and that is definitely a big help. What inspires me to create art would be, like I said, just how I feel. I usually create when I'm in a good mood, not really when I'm in a bad mood. And that can sometimes last for a month or two, then maybe for another 2 to 3 months I wouldn't really make anything. I would say the periods where I create art, they vary, they go kind of up and down based on my mood. But I would say probably what inspires me the most would be nature. Being out in nature definitely lifts my mood and makes me feel more creative. And I also like to take inspiration from like other works I might see online, like on Pinterest or on YouTube. I might see something cool and be like, wow, I want to try that. And opening myself up to other mediums in that way definitely inspires me to keep creating. The best piece of advice I have been given would be discovering what you don't want is just as important as finding out what you do. And I would say that that is definitely a good piece of advice because I want to do a lot of things. There are a lot of things I want to do, like I've tried making a bucket list before and it kind of just goes on and on. So to help narrow that down, it really helps to know what I don't want. For example, in my career, I know I don't want a job that has me just like sitting down in one place for hours at a time, doing menial work that doesn't really feel like I'm contributing too much. I know I want a career that would allow me to move around, work with my hands, and be something art related. Which goes into my next question. What is my career goal? My career goal would be, right now I am really, not right now, but for most of my life I have been really interested in photography, and I didn't really settle on that as a career until recently because I wanted to allow myself to open up myself to other mediums like sculpting and painting and other things like that I haven't really tried before I went into the art and design program. So after trying all those things, they were cool, they're nice, but I find that after all these years I returned to photography, and so I can confidently say that that is my career goal, to work with the camera and just show people what I see through the lens. Last, how has NSU Art Design Program developed me as a person or artist? I would say that it definitely developed me more fully as an artist because I was able to experiment with so many different kinds of mediums like clay and paint and so many other things, and I've learned many techniques. I'm now familiar with like just modes of art that I never knew before entering the program, and I am grateful for that. It developed me as a person in the sense that when you're making art and you have a deadline and you have criteria to meet, it can be both a little tiring but definitely motivating, because you think to yourself like, okay, I want to do better on this next project. I'm more aware of like what my message is or what I want to say. And I want to develop that more fully with the next project. And so it has definitely motivated me to just try to be better and better.
Hello, my name is Diane. I'm a senior environmental science major with minors in graphic design and studio art. I'm both a digital artist and a traditional artist, so I work in a wide variety of mediums, but the sort of uniting theme that you'll find across all of my pieces is a portrayal of the natural world, which in my works can include things like insects, fungi, small animals, and plants. I like to focus on the detail when I'm working on these art pieces because it sort of ties into the takeaway that I want people to get from my work, which is that I want to draw attention to the more unassuming aspects of the natural world. Things that might not be traditionally beautiful in the case of insects and fungi, but still deserve recognition. In that same vein, being outside inspires me to create art. I love to go hiking and I take photos while I hike, which is perfect because I use that as references for later piece. So it both inspires me and is a sort of way to clear my head. I don't really have any specific artists who influence me, but I would say that botanical art and scientific illustrations in general are great influences on my work. With my career, I'm aiming to go into the environmental science field. I would like to work somewhere in wetland restoration, but it would be great if I could find a way to combine my artistic background with my scientific experience. Maybe something like, I mentioned scientific illustrations. It would be wonderful if I could illustrate for a field guide or manual, something along those lines. The art and design program here at Nova has helped me to explore more mediums that I otherwise wouldn't have touched. Printmaking was a great example of this. I loved printmaking. It introduced me to linoleum block printing, which if I could linoleum block print for the rest of my life, I would. It is a great medium, and I am sad to say I probably wouldn't have gone near it if it wasn't for this class. I hadn't had any graphic design experience before coming to Nova, so just by taking an introductory graphic design class, it kind of opened my mind to this new field of art that I found that I loved, and I would like to go into that sometime in my career.
My friends, they definitely influence me. They encourage me to keep creating. They love whatever I make, and that is definitely motivation for me. Then I would say another influence would probably be my professor, Lopez. I've had her for many classes, so she definitely influences me to she encourages me to put my best foot forward in my work, and that is definitely a big help. What inspires me to create art would be, like I said, just how I feel. I usually create when I'm in a good mood, not really when I'm in a bad mood. And that can sometimes last for a month or two, then maybe for another 2 to 3 months I wouldn't really make anything. I'll say the periods where I create art, they vary, they go kind of up and down based on my mood. But I would say probably what inspires me the most would be nature. Being out in nature definitely lifts my mood and makes me feel more creative. And I also like to take inspiration from other works I might see online, like on Pinterest or on YouTube. I might see something cool and be like, wow, I want to try that. And opening myself up to other mediums in that way definitely inspires me to keep creating. The best piece of advice I have been given would be discovering what you don't want is just as important as finding out what you do. And I would say that that is definitely a good piece of advice because I want to do a lot of things. There are a lot of things I want to do, like I can't even...
Hi, my name is Santekia. I'm from Mendoza, Argentina, and I've been living in Florida these last 4 years to study graphic design at NSU and play for the women's golf team. These 4 years have been a great experience for me, and I'm really grateful for what I've learned and the people I've met. With my graphic design work, I aim to communicate a message to a specific group of people in a way that it would catch their attention easily, but in a very straightforward way for them to read it and understand what's the message in that piece and what they need to learn from that flyer or poster. The best pieces of advice I've been given are coming from my professors at NSU as well, and these advices have been to think out of the box when I do graphic design, be original, be unique, and to always try harder, focus on details, and be very straightforward in the way I'm communicating that message to people, because they will need to read it and understand it very quick. My biggest influences are my own professors at NSU because they have always encouraged me to be a better graphic designer and a better person, as well as teaching me new techniques to approach every of my new pieces. Some of my biggest influences are Louis Philly and Paul Rand, especially Louis Philly's typography work. And what inspires me to create art is to learn new ways to get people's attention through graphic design and learning to be more unique with my pieces every time and more creative. Both the art and design and the golf programs have taught me to manage my time very well. These 4 years I've always had a lot of tasks to complete and places to be at, and they taught me how to get there on time, complete all my tasks, and reach my goals. And this has been very meaningful to me because I know I will use all these skills for the rest of my life. And they have also taught me to have the attitude of knowing that I'll be able to complete everything I want to do, and this has been amazing for me.
So we're gonna start off with her. So throughout the rest of the exhibition, we're gonna go up close and actually look at the artist's works. I'm gonna be asking them questions about specific pieces, what inspired them, how did they start it off, how did they create it. If you guys have any questions regarding any of the pieces that you see, please type it in the chat. We have our tech professor here who's going to read it out, and we'll answer questions as they come in. So we're going to zoom into Sol Santekia's pieces. All right, so I want you to tell me a little bit about the one that's all the way at the top, called Renner. What was that piece about?
So that was one of my first pieces in my graphic design 2 class, and it was a typography poster. So I chose the Futura font, which I love, and I spoke about Paul Renner, who's the guy who created Futura, and he inspired himself to create it on the Bauhaus movement, which is basically geometric shapes like circles and squares and primary colors. So that's why I use a lot of lines and that red circle on the middle and those primary colors. So yeah, okay, it's pretty like forward and efficient.
Good. Can you tell me about this piece? So the piece that you guys saw on the computer was actually the yellow and black one. That's the one that I'm asking about. So at least you guys got to see close, and that's the one that I want you to tell me a little bit about that one, how it developed, why did you change the colors, so forth and so on.
Sure. So for that piece, it's actually a photo that I'm on, and
Just talk to them.
all right. It was by the Brooklyn Bridge, and so I wanted to make something with that piece, and I just started looking for inspiration when I came to find all like Warhol pieces in which he uses this like very strong colors against black and some other strong colors. So I started playing out with the colors and I got to yellow and black, which makes sense with all my flare project, which is like above that one. And that's why I place it there, because everything is yellow and black. Yeah.
You want to talk a little bit about what inspires you, or a little bit about your making of artwork? When you get an assignment, like how do you approach the assignment?
So even if it's for my work or for my classes,
You go.
Yes.
all right. I always try to interpret what the client wants. So just thinking what they want, sketching out, coming up with a lot of ideas, brainstorming, and then
Do you usually do this on the computer, or is it hands-on in a sketchbook?
hands-on in a sketchbook. And then when I have a clear idea, I go to the computer. And my professor Miriam taught me to always put the information I need first, like everything that's important first, and then I go to details, because I'm very perfectionist. So I get into details really quick when I'm supposed to just like lay out everything first and then get into details. But that's what I enjoy from doing graphic design, that I get to just try to make everything look great and as detailed and perfect as I can.
How
So-
has golf influenced your artwork?
Mm-hmm. Wow. So you will see one of my pieces is a golf magazine. I did that with my professor Miriam as well. She's taught me a lot to be more unique and more original. So for that one, we were coming up with an idea that, so she first told us, okay, just pretend you're billionaires. And then
And build something.
yeah, she was like, okay, what would you buy? So we started saying like just cars and houses and whatever. And then she goes like, okay, after you bought all that, what would you do? Would you do something nice for the world? And so I thought of just like a golf company that will create organized tournaments that are more affordable and just promote golf clubs that are more affordable to people and all that. So it was really fun to connect both of my main activities in my life, golf and graphic design, because you'll see like it has all of the shapes I see on my like every day, greens, fairways, and yeah, water hazards. So yeah, and sometimes it's pretty hard to manage my time because I play golf a lot and spend a lot of time on my graphic design pieces, but I think they both complement each other very well. They like push me to keep going.
That's perfect. Thank you so much. This is one of the artists again in the show, if you guys want to come. So
Where are we going next?
So the next artist that we're going to introduce is Gianna Allison, and it's a wall, so we'll just drag it.
Yeah. Where's the other one? Right here. Come here. Here's the microphone.
So this is Gianna Allison. She's the other artist. So let's start off with this plant. So I know you like to take a lot of photography. So what is this about?
So this was when I was actually no, this was a plant that I was growing. I don't know if you know those little pots that you buy from the store, and they come with those seed packets. So this was like my gardening phase. So I remember I had put the pot by the windowsill, and the sunlight was hitting it just right, and it looked really nice. I was like, wow, it's really pretty. It's like kind of cool. So I took a picture. I kind of played around with the like the setting spot. It came out like that. I titled it New Beginning because, you know, this is like a new plant, you know, it's growing, it's kind of like me, it's like, it's like starting anew, because, you know, we've all been through things. You know, there are times in my life where I just didn't know what to do and what I like to do. And so, you know, playing around with photography, dabbling in gardening, hobbies. Yeah, figure out what those hobbies. that was just like me learning about myself as well.
Yeah, that was good. These are really great. Like, and they all relate to each other. They all speak kind of like loneliness or not being really seen, or even though it's like trying to grow, but then this little person is what I like to look at it as. It's there but getting sunlight, so you also think about the rain. And the same thing happening with the grass in it as well. What about this particular piece that's right here? What is this one about?
Oh, that's my favorite one.
And get in there.
Yeah. Oh,
yeah, it's my favorite piece. I titled it My Dog's Past and Present because, as you can see, this is like a dog. Two dogs. So the two space, that would be my past dog. I had a dog before. He had died not too long ago. And I have another dog now that's alive. His name is BP. So this is BP. But you know, like me, like my family, we always think about childhood. It's about when was the time with him. You know, how we were like as owners. We could be better, like how we treat ourselves with new dogs.
Is there a reason why you use yarn for it?
Yes. I like to get the idea. I was trying to figure out what material to use. So I think yarn because like when you touch it, it's like really soft, kind of like dog's fur. And I feel like yarn best represents that like bleed.
So the texture of like fur,
Right, exactly.
and you can like pet it.
Yeah.
Is there any other piece you want us to look at while we're here?
Yeah.
Okay, so what about this piece? What was the project on?
Okay, this was a collaboration with this company called Art to Art. They gave my methods and materials class some sculptures, like empty sculptures to work with, and we
we're able to do like whatever we want. So I chose to paint over it. So I illustrated like whole day and night because I know it's nighttime and sun. The reason why I did that is because I just thought it was like pretty. And the piece itself is like really small. There's not much to do with it, and so I kind of wanted to make it more interesting by like dividing it into two things, but two things at the same time.
Thank you, Gianna. That was great. All right, so the next artist that I'm going to introduce as part of the show is Juju. So Juju, come on up. So Juju's right here. Hi. So Juju also plays sports, and I'm going to ask her that sports question. So how has your sport influenced your artwork before we even get into the basics of what it is that you created here?
My sports have influenced my artwork and my time management, I guess. Sometimes. But I don't know, just like figuring out when to do it. And I play softball, so it's a very like high speed rush sport. And I used to, once I'm working on a piece, I like do it once and it's like quick and like, so that's I guess how it affects me. Because I try to like finish everything at once. If that makes sense.
Yes. So, yeah. So during your video, you talked a lot about your line work and how tattoos have influenced your line work.
Yes.
And the kind of graphics that you put within your graphic design work and how that comes out. Do you want to talk to me a little bit about these particular pieces that are in the bottom regarding line work and how tattoo culture has influenced that?
So this was the first one of the trio that I made. It was actually in this class. It was supposed to be a self-portrait of ourselves, and we had to make it with contouring lines. And this kind of sparked my interest in tattooing. And just the way I like to make lines look like and just contour the body, make cool like different illustrations that like you wouldn't. So that's how like I've incorporated lines in my work. Just I feel like these will be I didn't really like them, so that's just me personally. But
do you want to talk about the culture though that happens within the pieces, like specifically the ones that are next to you?
yes. So that one is Drake, and this one is Beyonce. It's just like with each piece, I try to incorporate different aspects, like what represents them. So for now, like Drake, he's really good with like Nike and like just like this certified like lover boy piece. So like I incorporated like I try to think of how I could incorporate these different aspects that make them in my type of artwork. So that's where the way I did the art. And then for Beyonce, she's known as like the queen bee. So like I did little tags and little writings, but it's just little subliminal messages that like you wouldn't really pick up because you're scared at the loss.
Can you tell me a little bit about that piece up there? Just because it like really stands out and have all the colors that play into your artwork, right? So the reds and the blacks and the liner. Yeah, tell me a little bit about that.
So that one was for one of my classes from my professor Miriam. Me and Sol had that class together, and like she said, she's taught us a lot about just thinking like outside the box. And it was we had to create a product to go in a store, and I decided to do Mexican seasoning because I like tacos a lot. So, and it goes along with like my theme of like that like tattoo culture, like I don't know, Gothic kind of not really, but
Yeah, Gothic would be
Gothic.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I started
Like what was the piece about? So it was product design.
Yeah, it was product design. So this is just like a good example how I take like my kind of like art style and create it into what I'm supposed to design. And I just thought it was a really cool design concept for it, and I really got to play with like illustration, community closely with the desert and a skull. I don't know, I just really like had fun with it. And you can see that I use the red and black and white, so that kind of just ties it all together.
And then the last one that I want you to tell me a little bit about was Escape, just because it really like comes out at you when you're looking at it in comparison to your other pieces. So was that part of a campaign or
it was we had to create like soul path too because we were together, but it was we had to use the word flair and create just like a brand and a company from it, and I decided to do a nightclub because I really want to do that when I'm older, like
open up a nightclub.
Yeah, creative is my pursuit, so I can do whatever I want. But so I went with like, you can see up here these two pieces. Okay, that's the booklet. But yeah, so I kind of went for this kind of dark, kind of like theme of where it's like you go there and you just like escape from life. Like it's just like you walk in the doors and it's just like red, black, and it's like my head in a cup. So it's like you just have to escape and have fun. Just I don't know. Like I want it to be different than what you can normally go up to like on a Friday night. Like this would be very like high class, like
Sexy kind of loud.
yeah, like you have to get the list to come in, like. But yeah, that's it. And you can see like my reds and my blacks. Just my line work, and I also like some of my work is very like chaotic, but then it's simple.
Yeah, there's a lot of lines that go into your pieces, even within that piece in the middle where there's like lines that I don't know if you guys can see it from where your camera is. There we go. Thank you. You can see the little line work that's behind, but then you put the simplistic kind of objects, or should I say shapes, on top to give our eye a little break from the busyness that ends up happening. Same thing for the one on the top. Same thing for your line work as well. It's a little chaotic in the background, but you pull us in with the image that's in the front.
Yeah.
Well, thank you, Juju. That was good.
Thank you for coming.
All right, so we're going to move on to Diane's piece.
Oh.
Come on, Diane. So this is Diane's work. Again, she's also part of the show. Diane, I want you to talk a little bit about your major and how your major influences your two minors, one being in graphic design and one being in studio arts, because I can see it.
Yeah, there's a clear theme. So yeah, I'm an environmental science major. As you can tell, almost every one of my pieces has some element of the natural world, be it animal, plant, fungus, anything like that. And I find that I'm really scientific in my process for creating art. I focus on the details and I like to put a lot of research into the works themselves. Yeah, so you can pretty much see that I'm an environmental science major, physics major.
So tell me a little bit about these pieces right here. Like, how did you make them? What are they talking about? I can see that there's a lot of details happening in there.
Oh yeah, they're very small, but there's a lot of detail packed in there. That's an assignment for my fundamentals of color class. We had to create 4 paintings with different palettes, one in all grays, one in prismatic colors, and then one in muted tones. And then the last one with all 3 of those palettes. I focus mainly on specific species of plants. I have pitcher plants, orchids, nasturtiums, and foxgloves. So yeah, if you processed any of that, yeah.
Can you tell me about, I know that these two pieces look like they use the same kind of medium, maybe, I'm not so sure.
Yeah,
I know that they're
paper.
cut. Okay. Can you talk a little bit about the intricacies that are happening within that middle piece that's right there? Like, how do you make that?
Oh, just a pair of scissors and a lot of time.
So what is it? It's paper?
Yeah, it's paper.
Is it like Home Depot?
No,
type of
it's
color?
like collage paper, like pattern paper.
So all those little things are cut out to
Yeah.
make like the
Uh-huh. An
leaves?
X-Acto knife in like 5 hours.
Yeah, you really like detail.
I do.
Okay, so let's move on to these pieces that are over here because they grabbed my attention just because they're super colorful. Can you tell me a little bit about what the assignment was?
Oh, that was like 4 years ago. That one was also using different palettes of colors, complementary colors, triadic colors, things like that. So I basically chose the subject, pythons, and I stuck with it for all 4. I just have them in different positions, and I focused on patterns and details.
Did you look at a specific image or did you just
Tons of
make it-
images.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I put a lot of research into it. I like
Nice.
these references.
They're really nice.
Thank you.
And the last one that I want you to talk about is that illustration piece that's right up there.
Oh, the
It's
portrait?
Super. Yeah.
The huge one?
Yeah.
That's for typography. We were tasked with creating a portrait just out of text, letters. So we had an overlay of our image and then just spent a lot of time putting text on there to create light, shadow. That's what I ended up with.
That is very, very nice. Is there different words that are happening in here? Or is it
Just all letters.
just random?
Yeah. No hidden meaning there.
And do you want to talk about this piece right here as your last piece?
Sure, that's a diptych. So 2 different images that create a continuous narrative, as it were. I chose life and decay, so we have the decay section here and the life section. And I was aiming for it to be kind of ironic in a way. So the decay section looks more lively in
Right.
a way than the life section, which is kind of skeletal and kind of empty in a way.
And how did you make that? Like, what did you
Oh, that's linoleum block. So we have a linoleum block and you carve, it's basically like a big stamp.
you carve into it and then?
And then, and then you put the paper on top, press it down, and that's what you get.
Nice. Very good with detail. Thank you so much, Diane. And our last artist, where are you? Hi. Our last artist is Amanda, aka AJ. And AJ had a fantastic video explaining about her artwork and what she deals with within her everyday life. So AJ, is there a particular piece that you wanna talk about?
I mean, I could go on to detail anyone, so.
Okay, so let's start off with your Salvador Dali influence flower.
So I painted this, I believe, in painting 2. And we have to focus on technical difficulties. Well, we had to focus on an ism. So I decided to choose surrealism because I've just always been drawn to Dali's art style. And it's really interesting. This has a piece that focuses on a rose image, and so I used that painting that he had created as my base inspiration. I created my own version of it. He usually tended to focus on landscape paintings that would go off into the distance or ever, and it was I don't know. It just pulled out to me, and I liked it a lot. And I wanted to make it reflect of myself. So it's supposed to be like me, I'm the rose, and then the ocean is like waves of change and growth, and there's a lot of hidden metaphors. But so I had a lot of fun painting these things, and it's highly based off of Valley.
Do you know how much time you spent on this one painting? Do you remember? Or was that too
Like
long ago?
over 20 hours.
Yeah, because you can really see the details.
I went crazy on the titles because I wanted them to look velvety, like a natural rose, and I didn't know how to get that texture in there, so I went over them like again and again and again. Washes, highlight, low light, shadows, and then I started trial and error. Do something. So,
It looks really good.
yeah.
Tell me a little bit about this piece because I know that Yeah. It bounces off of that one that's right there.
Yeah, so I made this one originally. This was the first one that I had made. I hand painted this one with wash, and I created this one in my 2D class with Linda. Hi, Linda. And this one was supposed to be like an open, or it's either open or closed shape form. And pretty much it's supposed to be like your eye finishes up the shape so you don't have to, or I cannot talk, sorry. Your brain closes the shape without the painting or the picture actually having closed lines to it. So these two are very similar in the exact same type of artistic style. So I painted this one first, and then I took printmaking with Brooke. And I love that painting that I made so much, and I wanted to recreate it. And we were given the prompt of creating something that represented growth. So I wanted to go back and show the layers, I guess, of human anatomy. And I wanted to show the growth between the skin and the bones and all the layers that it takes to make up a person. So same thing like Diana was explaining. We use linoleum blocks. This took me 3 different layers. There's 3 different colors in here. It's hard to see, but there's light blue, and then there's a navy for the line work, and then it's black on top for the shadows, and the black is the exact same shaping as the black over there. So if you got rid of the skeleton underneath, it would look like that. So it's a little tweak to it, but I really like that one.
And then the last piece we can talk about is your shoes, right?
Shoes.
I'm assuming that they're your shoes, but
yes.
I don't know.
So you gave us the prompt to make our own still life, and I had these shoes that I had worn to a festival that we had paint thrown at us, and it was this whole big thing. So I thought they were really interesting to focus on, and I don't know how I did it because it's been a while. I mean, it's back in 2018, so my first year here at Nova, and I put a lot of detail into it. I thank Candy for that because she taught me to nitpick everything and make sure I could get the little details in there. So I did. I'm super proud of this piece. I'm really glad with how it turned out. It's really interesting the way that it's set in thirds. Gray. I don't know why. I just like
the foreground, background.
Yeah, like the Beatles too. Like I just like having weird space because it makes you think like why.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I like having audiences
come up and figure it out.
Yeah. Yes. I like that because it makes them think of their own things. But like I'm not saying like, oh my gosh, shoes. You have to think of shoes.
Right.
So I like that. Oh yeah.
Very good job.
Thank you, AJ.
Thank you. Throughout this entire exhibition, our students have their artistry next to their pieces. So if you want to get to know a little bit about why they create what they create, and how they create what they create, there's a little snippet. These would actually be here, so you guys can come around, look around for them, and if you have any questions, please write them in the chat. I don't know if there is anything in the chat, but I can't see either. I guess I'll figure it out and I'll try to get you guys some answers. But thank you for taking out the time and to join us to look at the senior exhibition for this year.